Welcome to the Base Movement School video series week 3. My name is Jazz.
I'm John.
And today we have our junior strength session on the Monday. I'll be coaching John through your session today, so make sure that you follow along as we go. Make sure you find enough space, grab any equipment that will be listed below, and also grab a drink bottle if you need. Apart from that, let's get started. Cool, so first up we're going to do our warm-up. I'm going to get John, we're going to go through our hip flexor stretch and we're going for 25 seconds. So as we can see, we've got our front leg bent, back leg bent, and we're just moving forward and back slightly. Try to keep up nice and straight when we do this, and we should feel a bit of a pull here. Good, keep going. Another 10 seconds. And noticing John's toes into the ground too. Ooh, and swapping legs for me. Good, so front leg forward, back leg forward, up nice and straight, and then just forward and back movements. If you're on the tiles or something and it hurts your knee, pop something underneath it, otherwise go onto the carpet. Cool, another 10 seconds. Forward and back, slight motion, standing up nice and tall. That's it. And all done there. So now we're going to get into some skipping. We're doing double leg skipping. We don't have a skipping rope. If you do, feel free to use it, but otherwise you can just do an imaginary skipping rope. So we're going to go 2 sets of 15 seconds. Good. Nice and bouncy. Good. 5 more seconds. Nice and light on the ball of our feet. And have a rest. So we're going to do 2 sets of those, have a little rest in between. Each time we want to make sure that we're on the balls of our feet, not pointing our heels. And we'll go again. Whenever you're ready, John. Good, nice quick feet off the ground. That's it. Keep going. Good, keep going. And we are all done there. Cool. So now we're going to go into our bear crawls. We're going to go forwards and backwards, so find a little bit of a space there, and we're going to go for 20 seconds. Okay, whenever you're ready. So we're going to set up on the ground, all fours, and then just lifting our knees off the ground, toes go down, opposite arm to leg. And we're trying to imagine you've got something on your back, a big bowl of something, and you don't want it to fall over. Good, keep going. It. Try not to let those hips move. A few more seconds, 5 more seconds. Good. That's it. And hopping up for me. Okay, we're now going to superset that with our depth drops. We did these last week, but this time we're going to have our hands on our hips. So we're using a step, but as we said, you can use literally anything that is elevated. So we're just going to step off. Good. Nice and light on our feet, hips go back and chest up. Good. And we're doing 4 of these. And last one. So you want really soft feet on the landings here. Perfect. Awesome. Have a rest if you need. We're going to go straight into back to our bear crawls for another 20 seconds. So we'll set ourselves up again, all fours on the ground, knees slightly up, toes down, and then, so whatever arm goes forward, the knee also, opposite knee will go forward. Good. Good. 5 more seconds here, that's it, John. And stop there for me. We're going to go through and do 1 more set of our depth drops. Hands on hips, stepping off, and nice soft landing. So with these ones, you're not jumping off, you're simply kind of like falling off. And then catching yourself on the ground. Perfect. 2 more. Good, and 1 more for you. Perfect, cool. So that is now our warm-up finished. We're going to get stuck straight into our strength. So for today's first superset, we've got just a normal bodyweight glute bridge and then also a split squat, and everything will be 3 by 10 as well. So I'm going to get John. We're going to start off with our double leg glute bridges first. So feet underneath our hips, just so we can fit a basketball between our feet. Hands just off our heels, and then hips go all the way up. That's it. We're doing 10 of these. That's it. And if you do have any sort of mini band, feel free, like the ones in the background over here, you can pop that one around your knees as well. Make it a little bit trickier for you. And then we're supersetting that with our split squats. So we're setting up on the ground, front leg 90, back leg 90, and then pushing through that front leg, and then up and down motions when we do that. Good. And we're doing 10 on each leg. We want to make sure when we do these ones we're coming up all the way straight, which you'll see that John's doing. So we don't want to stop halfway through. Our back leg should be straight when we finish. And we're pushing our weight through the front foot, standing up nice and tall. Go. Go. Last few reps here. Cool. Have a rest if you need, but otherwise we're going to get stuck back into our A exercise, which is our double leg glute bridge. So feet again setting up under our hips, basketball between our feet, hands just off the heels, and a big squeeze up. That's it, hips go all the way up. We'll go back to our split squats. If you do have any sort of weights, like a dumbbell or a kettlebell, which we used last week, which we showed you, feel free, you can hold this one just at your chest, or you can either hold two either side. Hands on your hips works, whatever feels comfortable for you. That's it. So making sure that your front shin, this part of your leg is nice and straight with the ground when we do this. Up and down motions, weight goes through the front foot. That's it, nice one. And standing up nice and tall. Perfect, cool. And we're going to go through and do our last superset. If you do need, grab a drink, pause the video if you need. Double leg glute bridges again, so we'll set up. Hands off our heels, basketball, any sort of ball between our feet, and hips all the way up to the ceiling. Nice, John. Perfect, last few reps here. Awesome. And then we're going to finish off with our last set of our split squats. So always remember, when we set up, our front leg is going to be straight at a 90-degree angle, same with our back leg. And we're going to push our weight through the front foot. Up and down motion, so we don't want us to be moving forwards and back, it's always up and down. If you do struggle to balance on these ones, find a spot on the ground. It might help a little bit as well there. Last 10. Perfect. Perfect, cool. So that is now the end of our first superset. So grab a drink if you need, but otherwise we're going to get stuck straight on to our second superset. So we've got our dowel hip hinges again, which you guys have already done. And then we're also supersetting that one with a kneeling push-up. So, as we said last week, if you don't have a broom, that is fine. Sorry, if you don't have a dowel, that is fine, but a broom would work as well. So, perfect. We're doing 10 of these. We're going to set ourselves up so we've got 3 points of contact, which are our head, upper back, and lower back. We're going to set ourselves up so we've got a basketball between our feet, and then hips will move back, and keeping our chest up. Good. So an example, which like last week, a bad one is when the dowel comes off the lower back. So that's when we get an arch, or the head, we're getting that rounding of our shoulders, which we don't want either. So nice straight spines. You can even do this one in front of a mirror. Cool. Perfect. And then we're supersetting that one with 10 kneeling push-ups as well. So we're setting ourselves up, hands underneath our shoulders, nice flat back, and then bending through the elbows. If you've done these, like you did these last week and you found the kneeling ones were too easy for you, you can always go up onto your toes. Good, John. Finish up the last steps. Yeah, cool. And then we're going to go straight back into our down hinges. Perfect. Good, so hips go back, chest up, and making sure that we're keeping those 3 points of contact. So we can also see how John's knees are nice and soft here. They're not stuck straight. Nice soft knee bend is what we are after. Good. That's it. Cool. And then supersetting that with our kneeling push-ups again. Going through another 10. Good. Hands up, slightly wider than shoulder width. Nice flat back. And then pushing the ground away until our arms are nice and straight. Nice, John. And now we're going to go through our last round. One more set of our down hip hinges. So we're setting up head, upper back, and lower back. Yep, perfect. And again, if you can't find a broom, you can still do these ones without it. Maybe find a mirror or a window where you can see yourselves, and then look and see if your back is staying nice and flat. Perfect. And then, yeah, like that. Awesome. And now we'll go and do our last set of our push-ups. If you're really struggling to do them on your knees as well, you can elevate your hands as well as bending your knees. There we go. Nice, John. So you can see he's got a nice flat back, bending through the elbows and pushing the ground away. Awesome. So that was the end of our strength. We are now going to finish off with some core, but before we start that, feel free to grab a drink and then we'll get stuck straight into it. So to start off with, we've got our dead bugs, which we would have done. We're going to do 2 sets of those for 10 each leg. If you are struggling to get 10 each leg, stop the set and then pick up from where you finished. So say if you did 5 each leg, need a rest, do the next 5. Good. Good. So as we can see, John has a nice flat back here. Imagine if I came and put my hand underneath his back, imagine that you're crushing my hand and tapping those legs out as far as you can. Good. See it? Perfect. And now we're going to superset that with a 20-second side plank each side. Good. So up on our elbow, hips go up in a nice straight line, 1 foot on top of the other. We're going to hold that for 20 seconds. Good. Halfway there. Make sure we keep those hips up the entire time. Good, keep holding, guys. Going, last few seconds, and drop. So because we've done one side, we're now going to do the other side. Setting up the same way, elbow on the ground, feet stacked, and hips up all the way. We're going to go again for another 20 seconds. Good. You might find one side's a little bit easier than the other. You can have your hand up all the way if you'd like, make a bit of a star shape, and then hips all the way up. Keep going, and drop for me. So if you need, have a little bit of a rest, otherwise we're going to repeat that one more time through. So we've got another 10 on each leg for our dead bugs. So remember, we don't want an arch in our back. Imagine my hands behind your back, and we want to crush that. And then trying to tap our legs out as far as they can go, hands staying nice and straight. Sit. Nice, John. And like I said before, if you can't get 10 each leg, totally fine. Take a rest and then go again. These are quite tricky. You make them as hard as go. Almost there. Perfect. Yes, these ones can get quite tricky. Now we're going to finish off with a side plank. 20 seconds. Last thing you guys are doing for today. Finish off strong. That's it. Good. Nice. So you might prefer to have your hand on your hip. You might prefer to have it out nice and straight as well. Cool. A few more seconds here. Keep holding, guys. And drop. Cool. And we're just doing our last exercise, which is our side plank on the other side. So setting up on our elbow, pushing through the feet stacked. Last thing we're doing, keep holding, guys. Good, halfway there. Keep going. And rest. Perfect. Cool. So that's the end of the workout today. We hope you guys are able to follow along and everything made perfect sense for you guys. If you have any comments or any questions that you have, feel free to pop it below in the comments section. Otherwise, make sure that you guys liking, subscribing to our channel, and also following us on Facebook and Instagram, because that's where we'll post updates about anything about the video series as well. Otherwise, we'll see you guys next week.